In this episode, you'll learn why fulfillment is not about more. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. 3 things you'll discover today: how to properly use negation in your life, why you need to be simple before you can build something monumental. I like that. Sounds juicy. And what to do if your career, job, or business feels like a shackle. Okay, how to properly use negation in your life. And this is an art form. And when I mentioned the word simplicity in the other point, simplicity is fundamental to understanding how to employ negation in your life. First of all, what is negation? And we'll define negation as a process in which you are not overcomplicating the way that your mind is being observed. Meaning that when you're working with negation, you are looking in a manner whereas if this, then this. If this, then that. If yes, then no. If no, then what? Right? And if you learn how to use and employ your logical mind very simply, also with nuance, right? It's not just black and white, but it is like, all right, I can see that when I eat unhealthy, now this is not me, but this is the patterns that will corrupt any soul connection. If I am to watch porn, if I am to consume just mindless entertainment, if I am to not exercise and stay indoors and not get fresh air, if I am to eat McDonald's, processed foods with additives, etc., if I am to put unnecessary contaminants and chemicals on my skin on a daily basis, in my hair, in my mouth, then what, right? You get heavy metals in your system, your mind's cloggy, you create self-perpetuating beliefs like I'm not good enough, or you create certain identities out of weakness, out of confusion, out of fog. Now, I know that's a lot there, but then vice versa, you can say, okay, so if I don't waste my spiritual energy on porn, if I am eating simple foods that my digestive system agrees with, if I'm exercising consistently, stretching, and taking care of this vessel, if I treat people with kindness and awareness and I don't perpetuate and project my own fears and weaknesses onto them, what's my life like, right? When you decipher how your actions create your behavior, then you learn. It's not about asking, how do I be grand? How do I be great? No, it's about looking honestly at what makes you not great. You are already great. I know sometimes that can be hard to hear, but I promise you, you are golden, you are beautiful, and you are strong. There will be days, weeks, seasons, and phases where you feel ugly, where you feel down, where you feel weak, where you feel not enough. And you know what? That's how you get great. Because if you didn't have both extremes, you would never actually understand what it is to be living in alignment with an undeniable fuel source, with an undeniable spiritual strength, with a true power that has nothing to do with who you name yourself as, Justin Agliscus. None of the things which I say have anything to do with Justin Agliscus. Now, they may be coming through the vessel who has a name, a birthday, etc., and is called Justin Agliscus. But the fundamental fact is that humans are humans and beings are beings. And when we fully learn how to integrate the spirit into the daily life, to embody the religious truth born within our hearts, the question is, what happens then? And that question is a question that will fuel humanity. As in, when you sow seeds for generations, hundreds, tens, however many years down the road. I don't know how long this is going to take to hit the people who it's meant for. Fundamentally, that doesn't matter. I do not control that. Why would I ever waste an ounce of energy worrying about that? Now, all that being said, I'm not going to act as if I never have thoughts of, oh, I would love if this reaches more people. Guess what? I know in my heart it will reach the people. It will reach the people when it needs to reach the people. So there isn't fear. There is sometimes a noticing of whatever it is that we label fear, insecurity. But if you notice it, you're not stuck in it. If you notice it, you learn through it. So this hopefully explains a little bit about how you can employ negation into your life. It's a process of creating clarity, first of all, fundamentally, physically. With that clarity, then you learn about yourself psychologically and spiritually. It's really physical, then psychological, then spiritual embodiment. If your physical isn't lined up, I'm not saying you need to have a golden kingdom and billions of dollars. I'm saying you need to have water and health. You need to have water and health. And if you have water and health, then psychologically, you'll start to change. You'll notice your weakness. You'll notice your patterns. You'll notice your conditioning. You'll feel when you need to step away from environments and situations and people. You won't burn bridges. You'll be wise. You'll be smart and intelligent. When you stop wasting psychological energy on pettiness and you're physically clean, so you're not wasting your physical energy either, then you open the spiritual gateways. That's how this works. Don't believe me, okay? Go do it yourself. Go see it for yourself. These words are just a poem for you, okay? They're a breadcrumb trail for you. This is the fuel to your lantern, if you will. Guess what? You need to learn how to create your own fuel for your lantern. But that doesn't mean that this isn't going to reach the right people at the right moment. Now, why you need to be simple before you build something monumental. Listen, so many people get rich, successful, and their life is hollow and empty. Why? Because they got complicated. They logically deciphered how to do the certain thing which they desired, and then they never built something monumental spiritually, internally, within the being itself. You know, it's one thing to build something externally big through logic and willpower. It's another thing to build something holistically beautiful through spiritual truth. Totally different things right there. And that's the difference between rich and wealthy. Wealthy is the spiritual way. Rich is the empty, hollow doing and busyness route. You know, are we human doings and human havings? Yeah, maybe you're rich, maybe, but are you a human being who is holistically aligned, sowing seeds for humanity? Then you'll be wealthy. You'll have relationships, you'll have health, and you'll have the money. You'll have all of that. And the hard part is the patience. The hard part is having the energy to sow the seeds whilst you don't have the external goods. But the thing is, you start to realize, wait, the external goods will never change the truth. So then the truth actually starts to fuel your life. And it's not so much about, oh, once I have this, once I do this. No, like you'll do that, you'll have that when you get it. But you sow the seeds because that's what is, there's no option. There's no choice. It's like, if you do this, your life is good. If you don't sow the right seeds, then your life is kind of like a garden without any plants or flowers or bushes or trees or animals or insects. Yeah. You may have the garden, but it's not going to have the pH, the soil, the sunlight, the nutrients. It won't. And then you'll have an empty garden. You may have a garden that's 1,000 acres of emptiness. And I may have a garden that's 900 acres of beautiful, right? Am I mad that you have 100 more acres than me? You know what I mean? So hopefully this hits you in your heart. And what to do if your career, job, or business feels like a shackle. This is really building upon what I just said. If your career, job, and business feels like a shackle, it's probably God saying, hey, you may have dove into the wrong path. But the wrong path is for you as well, as in you needed that hollowness, you needed that emptiness to change. Else your being wouldn't have learned that life is more than the emptiness. Yeah. So if you're in that career, job, or business and it just feels rough, the thing that I want you to do here today is take yourself on a walk by yourself. And on that walk, just make sure you have something to write things down, whether it be your phone or a notepad. Keep your phone on airplane mode if you're on a walk taking notes, just for your own sanity, please. And then, then what you'll find yourself doing is you'll have insights. You'll have moments where you see something so clearly, whereas you get a new, not an idea, but an epiphany, right? An idea is invented via logic. An epiphany is sent to you via light speed, insight. It's deeper than logic. It's so deep, it's in your bones, right? Like you just feel it throughout your entire being. Those are the things that you need to let build, grow, and you need to act upon that. Because usually what happens is you already know deep down, you already know the career, the job, the business, the field that you're meant to work through. But we have a lot of layers covering up that epiphany that's already been there. So, what happens when you employ negation, when you build a simple life, and when you go on these walks and you do these leisure like activities, then you create spiritual and psychological space. Without space, no insight can be born, okay? So you need space. And that is going to be the resource that has the nutrients for the seed to grow, right? God sends you seeds. He sends you epiphanies. But if you never nourish those seeds, how are you to learn? You won't. You won't. So that's what I'm saying, okay? If I give you step by step, very practical stuff, it's not going to change your soul. It's not going to change your spirit. So I have to speak metaphorically. I have to. This is the language of intelligence. And I'm not saying me, Justin Gliskus, is smart. I'm saying there's a message on my heart that must be communicated. I cannot go throughout this life without sharing it. It's that simple. I don't control who it hits. I don't control when it hits. I don't control what it does to you. All I can tell you is when this hits you, I'm grateful that you listened. Love you. Now, the recap: how to properly use negation in your life. Simplicity, right? Like, if yes, then what? If no, then what? Okay? Really keep it smooth, keep it simple. Notice when you're going into, see, paralysis by analysis practically, it's when you have too many options. Keep your life simple so that you don't have too many options. You don't need too many options. That's the logical mind being insecure, seeking security through falsehood. It's a delusion. It's going to make your life harder. Why you need to be simple before you build something monumental. Else you'll build a 1,000-acre field of nothing, right? And a lot of people do this. They just get rich and it's like numbers. It's just numbers. And that's all money is ultimately. I mean, it's a resource, it's a value exchange holistically. But all at the same time, a lot of making money is so shallow. So don't let your urge, your desire for riches, cut yourself off from the spiritual wealth that's always been within you. Okay. Now, what to do if your career, job, business feels like a shackle? Please, create that leisure, that space so that you can get the insights and epiphanies, or you can let those insights and epiphanies pop back up because they may already be there, or you may need new insights. Ultimately, you need leisure in your life. So that, for me, fundamentally, that means going on hikes, whether it's solo or with someone else. You don't always need to be talking. You can just listen. Listen to the air, listen to the birds, listen to the water, listen to whatever is happening. Listen to your thoughts, but don't, like, how do I put it? How do I put it? There's one thing to notice your thinking. There's another thing to be stuck in your thinking. When you do certain actions, you're going to raise the likelihood that you can see your thinking for what it is, rather than being sucked into the vortex of the confusion, which it can create. So truly, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. Big hug, big smile. Come on now. Let's sow the seeds. Let's change this world. Let's do what we need to do, what we've been brought here to do. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to learn more, link in description. And you'll see how I can potentially help you be free from everything that shackles you down, the anxiety, the thought, the insecurity, the fear. The list goes on and on. You know, we'll get you a ripped physique if that's the aisle that you would like to go down. That ripped, you know what I was talking about, right? The physical, the mental, and the spiritual. If need be, we can go from there. Or, depending on where you're at, we can just do the spiritual internal work. But fundamentally, I'm here for whoever feels the call. And we'll see if we're a good fit. It really comes down to that. But take your chance, baby. If you feel a resonance here, shoot your shot. Check the link in description. Let's go. Speak soon.